Hey gamers, last year we got one of the best Metroidvania ever, yup, that's it, Hollow Knight Silksong. And if you're hunting for the top Metroidvania games in Q3 and Q4 2026, you've come to the right place. So today we're counting down the top 17 new Metroidvania games of Q3 and Q4 2026 that deserve a spot on your wishlist right now. Alright then, without further ado, let's get started. Aggelos 2 is the kind of sequel that knows exactly what people want: faster combat, tighter platforming, and a world that actually feels clever instead of just big. You're dealing with two overlapping realms, light and darkness, and that alone gives the game way more personality than the usual run left, hit enemy, grab key loop. The whole setup makes exploration feel like a puzzle instead of busy work, which is why this one stands out. It also leans hard into precision, so if you like your Metroidvanias with real timing and real pressure, this looks like a great fit. And honestly, that's the selling point. It doesn't look content to just be another retro-inspired platformer. It wants to make you think, move fast, and earn every upgrade. Before we continue to the video, I want to give you a recommendation to buying games in this modern era, and that's it, ENEBA. ENEBA is a digital marketplace made for gamers with over 40,000 products available. You can find PC games, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo titles, gift cards, in-game currency, and a lot more all in one place. What makes it really worth checking out is the pricing. A lot of the deals are cheaper compared to official stores, and there are cashback offers too, which helps you save even more. What I also like is they support a lot of different payment methods, so you've got flexibility depending on what you usually use. They also offer secure payments and 24/7 customer support, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more polished and trustworthy when you're buying games. If you like getting great games at better prices or just want more value for your money, ENEBA is honestly one of the best places to check before buying anything. So if you're a smart guy, then you already know exactly what to do. All you have to do is click my link in the description below, search for your favorite games, and redeem the game code you already paid for. And by using my link, you're not just get awesome deals, but also help me support this channel. Alright then, let's get back to the list.
Where am I? What is this place?
Infinitevania is Metroidvania that dropped you into a world of portals, strange realms, and monsters that actually feel worth fighting because beating them makes you stronger in a meaningful way. That alone puts it ahead of a lot of bland 2D platformers that just keep throwing corridors at you and calling it progression. What makes this one interesting is the pace. It mixes combat, exploration, puzzles, and upgrades without sounding like it forgot which genre it is. It's also got that learn the world while the world keeps hitting back energy, which is exactly what makes these games addictive. If you want something that feels old school in spirit but not stale in execution, this is one of those games that deserves attention.
You burn away the evil that lurks here, and when needed, move unseen.
This time I won't let you get away!
Cathedral Crow's Curse is not here to hold your hand, and honestly, that's part of the appeal. This one leans into sharp combat, stealth, parrying, and tight platforming, so every room feels like it wants you awake and paying attention. You can sneak up, backstab enemies, deflect attacks, and generally play like a smart little menace instead of just mashing your way through another side-scroller. A lot of Metroidvanias talk about depth, but this one looks like it actually cares about how you approach each encounter. It also has that old school, you mess up, you pay for it energy that genre fans love. If you're tired of easy wins and want a game that respects skill, patience, and timing, this is the one to watch. It looks rough in the best possible way. Aeterna Lucis has that big, dramatic Metroidvania energy where everything feels a little more ambitious than usual. If you played Aeterna Noctis, you already know this series likes movement that asks something from the player, and that alone makes it easy to recommend for people who want more than basic jumping and slashing. This looks like the kind of game where the world, the combat, and the platforming are all trying to push you at the same time. That's the good stuff. It's for players who actually enjoy getting better at a game, not just cruising through it. Compared to a lot of 2D platformers that play safe, Aeterna Lucis looks like it wants to make every section matter. If you want something stylish, demanding, and built for people who like their Metroidvanias with a real edge, keep this one on your list. Divinum is for the players who look at a normal Metroidvania and say, yeah, but can I beat things up with style? This game seems way more combat heavy than the average exploration first platformer, and that's exactly why it stands out. You're not just wandering around unlocking doors, you're building up momentum, learning combos, and using powers that feel like they were made for aggressive players. That makes it a lot easier to recommend if you like action games that reward confidence instead of caution. It still has the exploration and progression people want from the genre, but the real hook is the combat system. It looks like one of those games where every fight can turn into a little highlight reel if you know what you're doing. If you want a Metroidvania that hits harder than most, Divinum deserves a spot on your radar. Dewdrop Dynasty looks cute and playful on the surface, but once you get moving, it's all speed, momentum, and giant boss fights that absolutely do not care about your feelings. That mix is what makes it fun. Instead of being another slow burn platformer that drags its feet, this one seems built for players who like darting around, finding new tools, and using movement as part of the combat. It also has that scrappy indie energy where everything feels handcrafted with personality. And that matters because a lot of 2D platformers can play fine but still feel forgettable. This one looks like it has charm, style, and enough bite to keep you hooked. If you want something fast, odd, and genuinely fun to poke around in, Dewdrop Dynasty is easy to root for. A Sister's Journey is the kind of Metroidvania that wins people over by being personal first and difficult second. You're not just clearing stages because the map told you to, you're moving through a world built around Violet's search for her sister, and that gives the whole thing a reason to keep going. It has that handcrafted pixel art look that makes every room feel like somebody actually cared while making it. And yeah, it's challenging, but not in that cheap, unfair way that makes you want to quit and uninstall the whole thing. If anything, it feels like one of those games where the struggle is the point, because getting through it makes the journey hit harder. If you want a 2D platformer with heart, tension, and enough bite to keep you locked in, this is worth your time. Well, Dweller is the one that walks in looking cute and then immediately reminds you this world is messed up. That contrast is the hook. You play as Glimmer, a tiny bird with a matchstick, which already sounds adorable until you realize the game is all about surviving a dark fairy tale kingdom full of strange characters and ugly dangers. That's what makes it stand out from a lot of other Metroidvanias that lean too hard on moody and forget to be memorable. This one has personality. It looks like the kind of game where exploring feels rewarding even when things get weird, and the atmosphere does a ton of the heavy lifting. If you like indie games that feel handcrafted, dangerous, and just a little bit off, well, Dweller looks like the sort of thing you tell your friends to play before it blows up. Mira and the Legend of the Djinns is a Metroidvania that actually wants to show you something different. Instead of recycling the same fantasy dungeon setup everybody else is using, it pulls from Moroccan culture and spiritual tradition, and that gives it an identity right away. You play as a treasure hunter moving through deserts, ruins, and hostile territory, and that alone makes it feel fresher than a lot of 2D platformers on the market. It's the kind of game that earns attention because the setting does a lot of work before the combat even starts. And once the action kicks in, it looks like it's built to keep the pace moving. If you're bored of generic fantasy worlds and want a Metroidvania with style, flavor, and a world that feels genuinely different, this one is absolutely worth a look.
Where am I?
Vapor World Over the Mind is for anyone who likes their Metroidvanias with a little psychological damage mixed in. This one doesn't look like a cozy run through colorful biomes. It feels more like a journey through someone's fractured headspace, and that gives it instant personality. That kind of setting can make even basic movement and combat feel more interesting because you're not just exploring a map, you're digging through a nightmare. It stands out because it seems willing to get weird instead of playing safe. A lot of 2D platformers look good for 5 minutes and then become forgettable, but a game with this kind of atmosphere has a better shot at sticking with you. If you want something moody, strange, and a little unsettling in the best way, this game looks like a solid pick. Rune Fencer Illyia has that classic, I'm here to give you a real adventure energy, is a Metroidvania built around movement, spell use, and that satisfying feeling of slowly becoming more dangerous the deeper you go. That's a big reason to care about it, because so many 2D platformers are all style and no payoff once the gimmick wears off. This one looks like it wants you to learn the world, master the systems, and actually enjoy the process of getting stronger. And honestly, that's what keeps people hooked in this genre. It doesn't need a huge gimmick if the fundamentals are strong. If you're into action platformers that reward exploration and make power progression feel earned, Rune Fencer Illyia looks like exactly the sort of game you should keep on your radar.
Track the ethereal cusp.
Bloodstained, the Scarlet engagement, has the advantage of walking into the room with a name people already care about. That matters because it instantly tells you this is not some random clone trying to cash in on the genre. What makes this one worth watching is the promise of that classic Bloodstained style action, gothic energy, and a world that looks like it actually wants you to explore every nasty corner of it. This kind of game works when the combat feels good, the rewards feel meaningful, and the map keeps tempting you to go one room farther than you planned. That's the sweet spot. If you're into Metroidvanias that lean dark, stylish, and a little dramatic, if it lands, it's going to be one of those, yeah, this is why I love the genre releases.
Riga Tortoise! Riga Lancris!
With me!
Cross Reaper!
Akatori has that instant visual appeal that makes you stop scrolling for a second. It looks fast, colorful, and full of movement, which is already a great start in a genre where too many games confuse dark with memorable. This one looks like it wants to win people over with style, but the real test is whether it backs that up with solid traversal and combat. From what it's showing, it seems like the answer is probably yes. That's the exciting part. A good Metroidvania doesn't need to reinvent the entire genre if it can make movement feel satisfying and exploration feel worth the effort. Akatori looks like it's chasing that exact sweet spot. Yup, this is the sort of release that could surprise a lot of people. Silver Pines feels like the don't judge it too fast entry on this list. It has a quieter, more mysterious vibe than some of the flashier games here, and that can actually work in its favor if the atmosphere is strong enough. Some Metroidvanias try to impress you by shouting the whole time. This one looks more interested in pulling you in slowly and letting the world do the talking. That can be a huge win when the level design and pacing are on point. It gives off the kind of energy that suggests secrets, strange encounters, and just enough tension to keep you moving. If you're the type who likes exploring every shadow and checking every corner because the game might be hiding something cool, Silver Pines looks like it could scratch that itch. It may not be the loudest game here, but it could end up one of the most memorable. Shade Protocol is one of those rare Metroidvanias that actually sounds like it has a brain under the hood. In this game, you're playing as Zura, a prototype replica in a dying world where reality itself has been corrupted, and the game lets you switch between Dawn and Shade modes to change how you move, fight, and survive. That already gives it way more identity than most 2D platformers on the market. The real hook is the combo of precision combat, mobility, and weird reality bending systems that can affect both gameplay and story. That means it's not only about beating enemies, it's about mastering the rules and bending them back. If you want a Metroidvania that looks stylish, plays aggressively, and actually tries something different, Shade Protocol is exactly the kind of game you should be paying attention to. Mariachi Legends is easily one of the most visually distinctive names on this list, and thankfully it sounds like the game wants to match that energy. A lot of 2D platformers blend together because they all chase the same dark fantasy look, but this one has a theme that instantly gives it personality. That matters more than people admit. When a game has a strong identity, every fight, every boss, and every new area feels easier to remember. It also helps when the action looks bold and expressive instead of stiff or generic. Mariachi Legends seems like the kind of Metroidvania that could win people over just by being fun to look at and fun to control. If you want something with style, attitude, and enough charm to stand out in a crowded genre, this is the exact kind of weird great idea that deserves your attention.
Like my father, mother, and their allies before
If you're
me.
looking top Metroidvania list in 2026, yeah, this one absolutely belongs in the conversation. Castlevania Belmont's Curse brings back that classic vampire hunting fantasy, but it's not just coasting on the name. You're playing as Rose Belmont in a gothic 1499 Paris, and the whole setup screams whip cracks, monster hunts, cursed streets, and bosses that look like they were built to ruin your night. That's exactly why people should care. It has the kind of identity most 2D platformers would kill for: stylish combat, exploration, and a legendary franchise backbone that still knows how to make danger feel cool. If the gameplay lands, this could be one of those rare modern games that reminds everyone why Castlevania mattered in the first place. For fans of moody, action-heavy Metroidvanias, this is not optional. It's required viewing.
What makes you think you can stop me this time?
And that's it for today. Those are the top 17 new Metroidvania games of Q3 and Q4 2026 that deserve a spot on your wish list right now. Got a hidden gem I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or discovered a new title to add to your collection, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss future content. Once again, if you want to buy games with cheap price, the link in the description, okay? So, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.